good evening. Welcome to this new edition, the headlines of this Tuesday, the 27th, 2015. The head of state has left the country en route to New Delhi to participate in the third summit Indo-East African. Another title in this edition, the Department of Agriculture reinforced fishery cooperative production capacity. We will go to the north of the country in this edition.
Those were the top story. Welcome to the RTD newsrooms. The head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margele, has left today in the early afternoon the capital to New Delhi in India in order to take part, like many other African head of state and governments, to the third summit Indo-East African. The strengthening of economic and trade relations between India and Africa is the main agenda of this summit. The establishment of the increased cooperation between the two parties in the area of security and fight against terrorism is order pane of this meeting. Djibouti is participating in this meeting within the capacity of countries on top with all the aspiration of this summit. This will be a platform of economic and commercial exchange, retributions between others, cultural and geographic, and several. Our country will conceal the goals economic opening expensive at the summit. Outside of this participation in the work of this summit, the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margele, will meet as usual in part with the several of these canopers, head of state and government present at this meeting. It will be also build a movement with the India to play in favor of a great inflow of business community of this country to Djibouti, between several economic regions of the world.
And still on the national news, the International Conference on Resilience, Research and Innovation continues this activity at the Hotel Kempinski Palace. The Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, the State Secretary for the National Solidarity, researchers, scientists and experts have taken to this new session. The Conference on Resilience, Research and Innovation, the State Secretary for National Solidarity, Zahra Yusuf Qayyad, has had the honor to present about how the tools of identification of the poor as the social register can increase the resiliency and to contribute to the resilience of vulnerable population and subject to the shock such as the climate change. She has in fact presented the mechanism which will facilitate to be in contact with the vulnerable population. This mechanism consists to save vulnerable person, and each person will have his own map of beneficiary and a unique number which will welcome to the state to develop strategies for the anticipation of shock if tomorrow there will be a drought and to rescue the vulnerable populations.
The Rotary Club of Djibouti Red Sea, in the framework of surgical caravan which took place from October 17 to 27, has organized yesterday afternoon at the Djibouti Sheraton Hotel Thanksgiving cocktails for all the persons involved. This event has seen the presence of the Minister of Higher Education and Research, the Secretary of State for National Solidarity, and the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health. Several personalities have also responded to invitations, including the Mayor of the city, the Honorary Council of Senegal, the Director of Pelletier General Hospital, and the Director of the Maternity of Dar al-Hanan. Let's recall that the caravan was organized by the Rotary Club of Djibouti Red Sea under the leadership of the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Secretary of State for National Solidarity. This caravan has enabled for some 60 patients with the various pathologies of the operation. The operation were carried out by a team of 3 Senegalese surgeons supported by the national doctors and technicians. The team of surgeons who took part in this caravan was composed by Mr. Mamadou Cissé, Associate Professor in Digestive and Partial Surgery, and Dr. Alpha Ouma, General Surgeons practitioner and master assistant of the Faculty of Medicine in Dhaka, the Usman Theme General Surgeons. They were accompanied by a specialist, Mr. Sulaiman Nur Ayale, in Dhaka. This initiative, which is the first of its kind for the Rotary Club, is a success and experience. In this speech made during this reception, the president of the club, as well as the different personality, did not miss to appreciate these beneficial actions and how this event is important in more than a title for our communities. All have wished this type of South-South cooperation is strengthening. The Rotary Club President Sulaiman Nur Aye did not miss to thank the Senegalese doctor who came from far away to participate in the well-being of Djiboutian population and relieve hundreds of people sick.
And in his address during the gala evening organized by the Rotary Club of Djibouti, the Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, has congratulated the Rotary Club of Djibouti, which is at the high level, he said, based upon the quality of its work. He also thanked the Senegalese doctors who have dedicated themselves, he recalled, to save human lives. He has insisted in the fact that South-South cooperation doesn't have a border, and exchange of skills in health field has once again illustrated by the Rotary Club of Djibouti and Senegalese and Djiboutian doctors.
The project management unit of the Department of Agriculture, in partnership with the leadership of the seed, will strengthen the means of productions of 6 cooperative of seed for the northern region, and 3 in the region of Tajora and 3 in the region of Abokh. To this effect, at first part of equipment and materials has been granted this morning to 3 cooperative of Tajora, Ulalis, Kalaf and Sagalu, nets to steer fish, nets mollusks and hooks of balance and accessory have been handed over to the representative of cooperative within the presence of the prefect, Mr. Abdul Malik Muhammad Banoita, of the representative of the regional council of the directions, the scene and the coordinator of the PMU, the engineer Barakaita Saeed. Their equipment have the objective to the improvement of the productions of seniors of the region to Tajora. The grading of these materials have been the sub-project component is intended to support the fishing industry. The equipment will be similar also to the provision of fishery cooperative of Abokh. The authorities of the region of Tajora and seniors of Tajora thank the coordinators of the unit for the management of the project for his constant support to the fisheries sector in the region of Tajora, who benefit from strong partnership fishery. The UGP has hardly made the same action for the promotion of the fishery to Tajora with the training of catchers of fish and study trap abroad for the seniors, also that the provisions of materials for fishing to improve hygiene treatment and the conservation of the fish.
Health now. The Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Isaq Usman, has held this morning in the meeting room of the General Hospital Pelletier a workshop of restitution of the medical mission of the Senegalese surgeons who have carried out the operation from the 16 and 26 October 2015. This medical caravan was organized jointly between the Ministry of Health and the Rotary Club to allow the population of Djibouti to be able to benefit from this operation of the spikes surgical at the national level. The objective of the meeting was to present the result expected from the medical caravan, which has affected 120 people made in the healthcare structure of reference that are the General Hospital Pelletier and the maternity of Dar al-Hanan. All surgical procedures were carried out between the Senegalese surgeons and national doctors. In his speech, the Minister of Health has thanked the team of doctors for their work and welcomed the progress of activities. He also recalled that this first medical caravan in from a country in Africa, and that is important to tighten the links of cooperation between our two countries to complete. The Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Osman, has announced the importance to ensure a framework of partnership between the University of Sheikh Anta Diop and the General Hospital Peltier. Mr. Ali Silay Abdullah, Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Jama Al-Miyabi, Director of the General Hospital Peltier, Dr. Saad Abdullah, Medical Director of HGP, the President of the Rotary Club, the medical teams have attended at this gathering.
Still in health field, in the framework of monthly activities consultation, a team under the Medical Center Hospital of the region of Arta for the approximations of care in the communities of village went to make checkups. A mobile team of the CMH Arta has moved into the locality of Leita with the doctors of a mobile team of the hospital center, Dr. Hussein Abdi, to carry out consultation and care of proximities. The doctors of the mobile team of the Arta Medical Center and its technicians, paramedics, nurse and wise women. The purpose of the mobile team is to provide care in the remote areas of health structures, fix the benefits offered to the population of the locality where the medical consultation, care of reproductions, the vaccinations, the support of the children. The number of the people consulted were 48 adults, 54 children and 10 vaccinations for all the communities. The Minister of Health, with these actions of regulations through these strategic account, bring care to the population of the region, moving doctors and paramedics.
Let's come back to the north of the country. The Tajura Community Management Committee has organized a general debate on the total abandon of any forms of female circumcision in collaboration with the UNFD and UNICEF in the city of Tajura, within the presence of representatives of UNFD Mariam Kako, associate the Deputy Prefect Habib Jilani, and leader of the village Hamed Barkhad. The Deputy Prefect did not fail to thank in his intervention the UNFD for this action, which is very important as well. He added to multiply this kind of debate. However, the dedicate on the general debates on the total abandon of any form of female circumcision has mobilized several layers of the population, namely the religious leader, the locals, women, the youth, in order to better convey the consequence of this scourge.
The Community Management Committee of Obor City held a general debate on the abandoned total of any form of female circumcisions in collaboration with the UNFD and UNICEF in the town of Obor, in presence of the representative of UNFD Mariam Makako, then Jomba Road, and authorities in the region of Obor of the prefectures and regional council. The leader present were thanked in their intervention the UNFD in these actions, which is very important, and have asked to multiple these kind of debates. However, the day dedicated on the general debates on the abandoned total of any form of circumcisions has mobilized several layers of the populations, namely the religious leader, the locals, women, the youth, in order to better convey the consequence of this surge.
And still on the national news, the Djiboutian Youth Movement Association, known as GDM, and Djibouti Belgian Association called ABED have undertook a joint action in El Sabir in order to carry out the distribution of school kits in the two villages of Gubeto and Holhol, with the collaboration of the prefect of El Sabir, representative of ABED Ahmed Mohammedini and his colleague Daqa Hassan, the representative of the GDM Ahmed Omar Abdi, and Jibril, representative of the UNFD in Holhol Fatuma Ahmed Farah, the Holhol post head, and the president of annex of Holhol and Gubeto, Okals of Gubeto and Holhol, as well as the population of these two villages were in addition present at this distribution day. This distribution of school kits to children of these two villages is a sign of solidarity which deals with very high national supreme interest, that is the unity and social cohesion. And the framework of this distribution of school kits by these two associations involved in the commitment of the citizenship values and in the awareness of the commitment and dedication of every Djiboutian citizens for its country. They will soon undertake a similar action in the region of Obo and Djibouti City.
A group of young Djiboutians which struggling sometimes to inculcate to the average citizens the notions of the public spiritness and the notion of a good governance to decision makers went to the Merjok in the region of Arta. The objective was to establish a social dialogue with the residents of the community and to do together on the ways and means to contribute to the development of the country, to the well-being of its inhabitants and improvement of the citizens' daily lives. These young people from different sectors of the country where some of them occupy even high responsibility evolve around the cradle. Do not expect all these states of has been programmed to take charge. This state in mind of particularly values for the young employment academies.
Let's back to the capital in economy now, especially on the price of vegetable in the Republic of Djibouti. We went to the market of Riyadh this morning. The atmosphere of the market of Riyadh were of fighting of full, and we have addressed the city of spread of vegetables. On seat, we have found that the price of vegetables is currently unstable, evolving each day. After an investigation, we have learned from sellers that prices fluctuate. The kilo of tomatoes and potatoes were today of 200 Djibouti's franc, then that some time ago some products were sold at somewhat more expensive.
Yesterday evening, the finals of handball and football of the second phase of the National Games Youth entitled Enter Neighborhood took place. The outcome of this phase has been found for each commune a team which will represent for the final phase of the games. In this, which is of male handball and Razdika coming, will be represented by the team of Camp Leron. For the final phase, the Bulaus commune by the team of District and the commune of Balbala by the team Dogle. For the discipline of football, the commune of Razdika will be represented by the team of Blue Heron, the commune of Bulaus by the team of City Stadium. These national games of youth initiated by the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Mr. Badul Hassan Badul, has for objective to detect young talent.
Let's move on to the regional international scene. For young people, there is no limit, and in Addis Ababa, dreams fly about classroom with as much abundance as anywhere else in the world. Let's take a look to this report.
Located in the hills outside of the capital, the Otonto Observatory and Research Center is propelling the nation forward in Africa's space race. 3,200 meters above the sea level, the observatory is an integral part of a program launched by the Ethiopian Space Science Society, an independent organization established in 2004. It is keen to utilize the station's unique location and ability to observe practically all the sky, both northern and southern hemisphere. We can always see almost anything, explained 20 years old engineer Guillaume Ashanafi. We have taken images of galaxies, stars, clusters, moon, planets, and many celestial objects. In the future, we are planning to take more. This telescope is capable of doing so many things. It is equipped with two 1-meter telescope, modern CCDs, and a spectrograph. The station is playing to its strength. Developing countries cannot compete with developed countries, said Leonid Bernikov, a Russian professor from Moscow currently studying at the observatory. We can only study objects inside our galaxy, conceded Bernikov. Luckily for him, It is estimated the Milky Way holds between 100 and 400 billion stars, offering plenty of variable stars, double stars, star clusters, and the telescope has trained its lens on so far. These are many unsolved problems in the astronomy which don't require huge telescope, problems that require a huge amount of observing time, so we concentrate on those kind of projects.
Nigeria has reached an agreement with the United Kingdom on the use of solar energy to provide electricity to the rural areas in the country. Let's listen for more information.
Nigeria has reached an agreement with the United Kingdom on the use of solar energy to provide electricity to the rural area in the country. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who led Nigeria's delegation to the event at the Facebook headquarters in London, signed on behalf of the Nigeria, while the UK Minister of State for International Development, Grant Shapps, signed on behalf of the UK's government. NAN reports that the event was performed shortly after the launch of the Africa Energy Campaign initiated by the UK Department for International Development. Osinbajo, upon signing the agreement, reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the national and regional effort to improve accessibility to power, especially solar power. He said that the program was an opportunity for Africa, adding that the advantages of the launch was that the partners could bring universal access to energy. With the cost of solar panel power 20 years ago, that would have been impossible. The combination of innovation in technology and the low cost of solar power has made this all the more possible, he said.
Rescuers on Tuesday rushed to deliver a relief aid to victims of a massive earthquake that hit northern Afghanistan and Pakistan, killing at least 275 people over a wide swath of mostly mountainous terrain. In Pakistan, 250 people were confirmed dead. Let's watch for more details.
Local media reports suggest more than 200 people have died as a result of a magnitude 7.5 earthquake which has rocked Afghanistan and Pakistan. In Afghanistan, Takhar province and frenzied evacuation at a girls' school ended in a tragedy for at least 12 students who were reportedly trampled under the feet of the others trying to escape the building. The quake struck some 25 kilometers southeast from Faizabad, near the mountainous Indus Kush regions of northern Afghanistan, shortly after 2 p.m. local time. Communication were brought down in some regions, meaning the death toll is likely to continue rising. In Pakistan provincial capital Peshawar, at least 100 people were taken to hospital. The country's army chief ordered troops to the areas affected by the quake, which reportedly had the biggest impact in the north, but could be felt across the nation. In the capital Islamabad, building shook and people poured into the street in a panic.
This is the end of the edition. Thank you for your attention and have a wonderful evening.